Not too bad. I don't have enough room on this page, except for to color this. Let's write down the steps for this example. So the first thing that we did was found the vertex, get vertex. And that was easy because we just looked at the equation. Second thing is plot vertex. Ooh, very easy too. Third thing, draw new axes. So draw new coordinate system. So we drew our new things. That's 4. And then we found our helper equation and made a t-chart. So find helper equation, and fill t-chart. Then graph using that. So graph. And then, lots of steps. Find the X and Y-intercepts. Find X and Y-intercepts. And lastly, label everything. We did that as we went along, but those are the steps. Can you see them? Yes. They'll be in blue. And we didn't have any x-intercepts because it never crossed the x-axis. Yeah. Alright, next página. So this one will be similar. Graph y plus 8 equals 1/2 times x squared. So this is not exactly in the form that we were just looking at, but we can put it in that form really, really easily by doing this. Y instead of plus 8, we can do minus -8 equals 1/2 x minus 0 squared. These are the same thing, but now I know what h and k are. So my vertex will be h, which is 0, and k, which is -8. The reason I did this minus was because I wanted to see clearly what k was. But what you can do is remember that it's just the opposite of this whole thing. So k would be, instead of plus 8, it'll be minus 8. And then in the other example, where was it? Instead of k being -5, it was just regular 5. Same with the x. Instead of being -3, it was just regular 3. Or same with the h, I meant. Yeah? So now that we found the vertex, we can also write down the axis of symmetry, which is x equals h. So x will equal, in this case, 0. This is the axis of symmetry. Ax of sim. Now we find the helper equation. I don't know why I put a period at the end of that. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The helper equation is just when we take off the h and the k. So we'll have y equals 1/2 times x squared. And then make a t-chart from that. So to fill my t-chart, I want to pay attention to this a term, because when I plug things in, I want them to come out nicely for the y part. And what that means is, if I plug in a 1 here, I will have 1 squared times 1/2, which will give me 1/2 here. And it's hard to plot halves. It's hard to plot, decimals or fractions. So I'm going to plug in numbers so that I don't get fractions out. You just have to look ahead for that. So I'm going to plug in -4 -2, 0, 2, and 4 to this. So when I get -4 squared, that's 16, divided by 2 is 8. -2 squared is 4, divided by 2 is 2. 0, it'll be 0, and 2, and then 8. Is that what I have? Yes. Again, I'm going to super quickly glue in okay, my vertex is at 0, -8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A is positive, so it'll open upwards. So I'm going to label below 0, -8. And then my axis of symmetry is x equals 0. And now I can just plot my points from this new coordinate system that I made at the vertex, because that's one of the steps. So -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I knew that. And then -2, 1, 2, +2, 1, 2. And then I can just reflect them over the axis of symmetry. And then connect my dots to make a beautiful parabola. Beautiful. Yeah. Now, finding the X and Y-intercepts, same way. X-intercepts, whoops. We can find by setting y equals 0. Y equals 0. And we're using our original equation. So 0 plus 8 equals 1/2 x squared, and we're solving for x. So I can multiply both sides by 2 to get 16 equals x squared. So x squared, by square rooting both sides. What happens when you square root? Plus or minus. You do plus or minus. So x equals plus or minus 4. Which means we have x-intercepts at 4, 0, and -4, 0. These are our x-intercepts. And if we have y-intercepts, I can do that here. Y-intercepts. This will be setting x equal to 0 and solving. And we'll have y plus 8 equals 1/2 times 0 squared, which means this will be 0, subtract 8 from both sides, y equals -8. So my y-intercept is, I mean, I could have looked at it and found it, 0, -8. 0, -8, or just from the graph I could have looked. Yeah, that's this example. Pretty simple. So the next example is a little bit different in the wording, but almost the same procedure. We just have to find A ourselves. So the information given is the vertex is at -1, -2, and it contains a point 2, -5, and I'm going to highlight this in orange and green. So first we have a vertex, so from this form y minus k equals a times x minus h quantity squared. From this form we can already put in our h and k, so I'm going to do that. Y plus 2 equals a, I don't know a, and then x plus 1 quantity squared. And then to find A, we can plug in these points, which, this is the x value, this is a y value, and I can plug them in here. So x will be green, y will be orange. So if I plug these in, I'll be able to solve for A. So -5 plus 2 equals A times 2 plus 1 squared. This will be -3 equals A times 3 squared is 9. A times 9. So divide both sides by 9. So I'll have A equals -1/3. Is that what I got? Yeah. So now that I have A, I can plug this back into my formula. So from here, I can go y plus 2 equals A, which is -1/3, times x plus 1 quantity squared. And that's my answer. So a little bit different information, but still fairly easy. Last example. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna. I got that stuck in my head. Vertex is 2, -3, and the y-intercept is 9. So this is the information that maybe you'll be given in on your problems. What I'm going to tell you is y-intercept. This means the same thing as y-intercept. So it would be x equals 0, y equals 9. And I'm going to show you on this graph. The y-intercept would be where it crosses the y-axis, which means the x-coordinate has to be 0. I mean, if the x-coordinate wasn't 0, and say the y-intercept was supposed to be at 9, if the x-coordinate wasn't 0, say it was 1, then the point wouldn't be on the y-axis, and it wouldn't be the y-intercept. So what I'm saying is, when you have a y-intercept equal to 9, they really mean the point 0, 9. Okay? So that's something you'll have to interpret so that you can find out this information, given this information. And then this problem becomes exactly like the one before. So we can have y minus, I'm going to write down the form again, a times x minus h quantity squared. I'm going to put in my h and k, so y plus 3, because it's minus 3, equals a times x minus 2 quantity squared. I'm also going to put in my x and y that I found out, which is 0 and 9. So 9 plus 3 equals a times 0 minus 2 squared. 9, 10, 11, 12 equals a times 4. Divide both sides by 4, and we'll get a equals 3. Do I have? Yes. So then I can take this and plug in a, and I'll be done. Y plus 3 equals 3 times x minus 2 quantity squared. That's my answer. The end.